Episode of A State of Mind with Coach E and Doss is brought to you by Mouse from Doss. A State of Mind with Coach E.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Today, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But as usual, welcome to A State of Mind with Coach E, man. Today I'm excited about the topic, man. I previously did a podcast about youth violence and the disrespect that we seeing in today's community. Man, go check it out. You know what I'm saying? I know nobody's obligated to support you or listen to anything you do or whatever. And you know, I might not be the biggest platform right now, nowhere near it, you know what I'm saying? But what I do notice is, you know, it's a trend, especially in today's society, that, you know, only certain subjects is viralable, you know what I'm saying? Viral, you know, internet worthy, listen to worthy. Man, go check it out. It's called Youth Violence and Disrespect in our communities. Today is kind of like a spin-off. I done pretty much kind of talked about this before, but I want to get more in depth with it and, you know, open up a little bit more, man. I got to start using my platform, you know what I'm saying, to get the message out there, even if that means, you know, little transparency or just talking about myself, you feel me? Because at the end of the day, man, these kids dying. Sports is always gonna be a great avenue or pipeline for them to get into college, but somewhere down the line, things go wrong, or just even in the beginning, you know, things go wrong. So we most definitely have to find a solution to tighten this up. You get what I'm saying? I really want people to understand that I don't never want to use my platform to bash anybody, but at the same time, wrong is wrong. Or if we need to come together, we just need to come together. I don't think I ever call anybody out personally. I don't think I will. But at the end of the day, if the shoe fits, wear it. You get what I'm saying? So, man, just sit back and take this ride with me. You feel me?
We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those.
We ain't won a game since we beat the Cowboys in our Super Bowl 49er fans. We want to be America's team so bad, 49ers fans. Even though we ain't won a Super Bowl more recently than the Cowboys, at least we done came in second place more recently than y'all 49er fans. We've been stuck at 17 for the past 3 weeks, 49er fans. I can dish it, but I can't take it, 49er fans. But most importantly, bang, 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 Bonus gang, 49ers fans. A State of Mind with Coach E.
Yes, sir. So check it, man. Today we're talking about the importance of fathers and father figures in our society today and in youth sports. As you know, and some of you may see, a lot of times when you go to these different sporting events, you're starting to see a lot of mothers there. And nothing wrong with that. I love, like, everybody deserves some type of support from their parent. You know, any love is good love. But when we're talking, and today I'm not going to really touch the young female athletes. I mean, of course, a lot of things I'm going to say will fit, you know, for a young lady. But I'm talking about these young males. Fathers, we have to do better. I'm seeing a lot of kids suffering mentally, you know, emotionally, you know, physically, in school. All these good things, they're taking hits because there's a lack of a presence of a male in their life. Their father, actually. You know, one thing I learned being an adult now, no matter what you do for a child, you know, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you hug them, financially take care of them, or just anything, there's always going to be a piece of them that longs for their biological, their parent, their dad, because even though you're not there, you know, they see. Kids are not stupid. They see. You get what I'm saying? daddy. So they know that they're supposed to have a daddy. They understand the concept of life. And when you see other kids around you getting that love and attention and affection from their fathers, it started to build up different emotions and different things inside of you, and it causes you to act certain ways. In today's society, man, you're starting to see a lot of kids who are now getting signed up for sports to kind of accommodate for the lack of. You have a lot of mothers who are turning to coaches, to be that father figure, uncle figure, whatever, just that male figure, male role model figure in their life. And nothing is wrong with it. That's actually a great thing. But the problem is when you have 6 or 7 other kids who are there for that, that could be a lot to bear for one man. It's crazy, man. The male is always supposed to be the leader. He's supposed to be the rock, the strength. He's supposed to be the I remember there's times like even my wife, she used to tell stories like, her and her mama can go back and forth. Not in a disrespectful way, but it would literally take for her mama to whoop her. But if her daddy raised his voice, she'll cry. That's just the power of a father. So what I'm saying is, males, we have to get back in these kids' lives. If you look at the murder rate, and especially at the age of these kids, whether they're the suspect or the victim, it's getting bad. I remember there was a time back in the 90s, in the 80s, things was bad. Young people were dying, but we're getting back to that now, and where it's not even a gang issue. It's just misguided youth. And I know that's go hand in hand, but it's just a different time. Basketball is always a good avenue to put a kid in. Give them something to do. Give them a out. But the problem with trying to make basketball a substitution or just something to do list is these kids are not being taught how to fail or how to handle hard work or how to love something. They're not being taught how to respect, how to handle constructive criticism. So when they come into something like basketball and they're coming in naturally the underdog all across the board now, and they don't have certain basement skill sets, if you want to call it that, far as saying that even though I never played basketball, I've always been involved in things where I worked with my daddy, so I might have certain strength, certain natural footworks, certain just, different things that'll help you catch on more or keep you from checking out mentally and emotionally to keep you locked in to learn things or even putting yourself in a position to where a coach or somebody will want to deal with you. When you look at sports now, you see a lot more emotional outbreaks and mental shutdowns. The lack of a father plays a heavy part in this because you're starting to see womanly traits, emotional, a lot of highly emotional, impulsive kids. And there's if you look at how things are adding up, you're starting to see kids who don't even want to fight. They quick to hit you with that pistol. Just impulsive and emotional. Nobody really cares to just think about anything. There was a time where men could sit down and hash things and talk things out, but people can't now because they don't have that grit about them. They're not being taught this. My daddy taught me a lot of things. I lost my father at an early age, and so he put a lot of things in me, but there was a point in my life when I lost him that after that, you could see the change in me. I became impulsive, emotional, and it affected me in a tremendous way. I got kicked out of school, got out in the streets, eventually started going to juvenile and doing this, getting caught up in certain things that I had no business being caught up in. Now, what I will say, no matter if you have a father or not, there are still elements in life that you can get caught up in. But one thing I like, and that when I look back on the partial time that I did have my father, is that even though I did get him eventually in the streets, I did go to jail, I did, get caught up in certain things, I never longed for the father figure. So nobody was ever able to son me. A lot of things I did is because I wanted to. And I was able to navigate and think my way through certain things so I was never able I never fell into the flunky role, you know. So what I'm saying is the importance of a father, a male figure, is so strong that guys, we have to do better. I find it funny that as men, I see fathers on the internet who don't do anything for their kids, but they'll sit up and brag about their child's success. My personal opinion, if you don't never put in the effort or ever took your child to work out, or you want to see your kids at the game and it's when you come to see them, you don't have a right to say anything to them about their basketball or to their coach. Like, shut up. You just sit there and watch. I just find it funny that in today's society, we find time for everything else. We'll defend our respect. We'll demand our respect. We want to be recognized as real street cats. We want to be recognized as real gangster rappers and all these things, but you don't put that same effort into being a father. Yes, being a father is hard. There's going to be a lot of sacrifices you have to make, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. When you look at what it takes to be a father, to me, that's what makes you a real man. Regardless if you had a father or not. I mean, I partially had one. I know some good fathers who who never had a father, but they stepped up to the challenge to figure it out. Regardless of the relationship with your baby mother or whatever went wrong, you were still obligated to be in these kids' life. I'll say this, no matter the color or whatever, it is our job as men to lead these young kids and secure their future for them. One thing I'm learning as a father is, regardless if I'm here or not, my job, or in the house with them or not, which I am in the house with my kids, and I thank God for that. But what I'm saying is, I'm learning that if I wasn't hard on them the way I am, their future would be their present would be a lot different than what it is. When we were kids, whether you had a child or not, when you went outside in these communities with these kids and some of the big homies or whatever the other nicknames you had for them, that was a form of a substitution of giving us that grit, that toughness, that awareness, that swag about ourselves. We outside every day being rough. We learning and watching and we taking in the game and you know, even learning how to talk to girls and certain things, you know, or somebody pulling you to the side and say, hey, little homie, that ain't how they go. Now kids don't have that. So the pressure and the responsibility is greater. Kids don't go outside anymore. They don't have that outside anymore. They don't have that same grit about them, you know. So when you think about all the great things that made us who we are in our eras, and now that it's not here, you don't have that backup plan or that safety net. So when we're talking about your kids, fathers, you have to be involved. I hear a lot of fathers say, oh, well, I'll let my son decide what he's going to do. Now, excuse me, and I apologize if I offend you, but to me, that's stupid. You can't gamble with your kids' future based off them deciding what they're going to do. They're kids. They have no knowledge of life. Hell, I'm 36, and it's still things I'm figuring out. I'll never allow my sons or my daughter, well, she's older now. She is kind of making her own decisions, but my son still, to determine if they're going to play Fortnite or play football or do they want to do this. How can they properly make a decision if I've never properly introduced them to it? I always had a rule. You're going to play two sports, and you're going to continue to play them and give your all, learn that sport. And once we feel like we didn't got to where we need to be to know if we're good or not at it, I'll let you make that decision after you done gave all a couple of years, few years, and we didn't see where, you know, which direction your talent is going. After you didn't fully play that sport, then I'll allow you to make that decision. But we're running away from their responsibility now, and you just got kids sitting at home on the couch. They're not learning anything. I mean, man, I remember I was outside at my kids' practice, and this woman, she had like two big old boys, big, and they came out there, and she was talking to the director of the team. Now, I mean, I'm affiliated because my sons play there, but I'm not on staff with this organization. Just so happened, they was standing over there talking to me, and they was complaining. I don't want to play no football. I just want to stay home and play my game. Now, these big kids, like, they could have a real future in this if they continue to grow. Like, they weren't having it. And the mom, she didn't know what else to do. And these kids were just shut down. Like, they was about to cry because they was having to play football. And to me, that's where a father is important. Like, we're letting our kids down, man. And if we don't get ahead of this, we're going to have a bunch of sensitive, impulsive, emotional kids, young men. Even if you look at the shift in relationships, the women are starting to take the lead. Where are our young leaders at? If you look at today's era with all these young superstars who had bright futures, they're getting in trouble. They're losing scholarships, just doing crazy things, you know. Why do you have guns when you're from great areas? Like, what's the point of having a pistol? Like, who needs a gun to walk around Sherwood? Or like the Mikey Williams situations. Like, this is where men come into play. There has to be a leader or a voice of reasoning that somebody can respect and accept these things from, that's going to be in their life to lead them and say, hey, yes, you are a 17-year-old child that's just like the other 17-year-old. And I don't know Mikey's situation. He might got a daddy. I don't know. But we're saying this is more and more common in today's era when you don't have strong men around. And I'm just using Mikey's situation. He might got a great daddy. But I'm saying, if you don't have somebody who can step in and actually be the man, regardless of who makes more money or regardless of this kid is a breadwinner or not, he needs somebody in his life that can keep him grounded, and still say, hey, son, I'd rather for you to cut me off and not give me $1 if I let you blow, you know, your future. Young men need that. And what I'm getting at is, even when you see in sports, you rarely see kids who have that grit and that dog to just take it over. And if you do, let's do the common denominator game. They have a great father behind them. I mean, I can name some. The Laniers, the Hayes, the Bryants, just names. I can name countless of people, even B. Cal's son, or Lil Trigger. You know, they got daddies behind them that's pushing them. Nick Smith. I mean, you can just name, and I'm speaking currently. It's always going to be the common denominator for the most part. There are exceptions. But what I'm saying is, I mean, I'm not going to act like there isn't any great superstars who didn't come from one-parent homes and their mama, LeBron James, is a product of that. But I'm saying they are from the old school. When you look at now the LeVar Balls and all that, you're starting to see that the ones who are overcoming is the daddies who are involved in their life and actually pushing them now, because you can no longer just sit up at work all day and just gamble on your kids to figure it out. It don't work like that anymore. I think about a lot of the underlying issues that come from this: depression, sense of loneliness. Kids need direction. Fathers, we have to be involved. Who's going to be there to answer those big questions? Who's going to be there to give them advice of things that they didn't even know they needed? We're talking about them learning how to deal with young ladies, even ironing their clothes, their grooming tips, just having some swag about their self-hygiene. They need this. I see a lot of kids, man, who are under the wings of volunteer moms and stuff like that. And that's great. But what are we going to do about how does that help them when it comes to dealing with man issues? Basketball at one point was only for the elite when we're talking about summer basketball. But back then, there's no secret why boys was a little bit bigger. They was a little more stronger. You know, they was already ready to play. Now you just got natural raw athletes because they have more access to videos and, you know, just you born with it. But you see a lot of athletes who have no dog in them. None at all. And fathers, that comes down to us doing a better job of being leaders and being more involved in our kids' life. I just find it funny that even with the direction that youth sports has gone into, is more about ego It's more about I done it first. Or it's more about I'm the plug. And you watch coaches tearing down each other, fathers tearing down each other. You even see people hating on each other, kids. And it's like, at the end of the day, man, as men, we have to do better. We can't teach unity and love and then at the same time be over here tearing down somebody else for doing the same thing you doing. I mean, we all helping kids. So at the end of the day, as men, fathers, coaches, role models, youth leaders and all that, we have to do better. Because at the end of the day, our young men need us. When I look at some of the things and issues that I deal with, I would be in a much better place if I had a father in my life. I thank God that I was provided with a second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th chance to get my life together. Being married with 3 kids, I thank God for that. I just thank God for all these opportunities. But there was a rough spell in my life where, I went through a lot of things. Having a father would have been very, very valuable to me if I had knew what I knew now. It's still things I struggle with in life. I get it, but you still have to accept that challenge and make sure that the next generation doesn't feel that pain or that void that you have. Because like I said earlier, you just don't know how much your presence and a little bit of game would do for these kids, because now you got kids going out here longing for some type of figure. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I thank God for the little time I did have for my father, because I went out here on my own terms and not looking for a daddy. So couldn't nobody son me. So what I'm telling you is, man, the absence of a father caused a lot of pain and hurt. And, man, we have to find a way to come together and figure this out. But even ourselves as men, we have got to the point where we're starting to act a little, I don't want to say feminine, but, it ain't manly. You're starting to see a lot of gossiping, a lot of little gimmicky stuff, just a lot of things to the point now where we can't even come together. We treating our organization like gangs. You know what I'm saying? We even set up coaches group chats now just to brag, get just a joan on each other. And that's cool. It's cool to have fun, but it's like, man, y'all really take these little plastic trophies too serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I want you to show your trophies and how successful your program is. But at the end of the day, man, we have to teach these kids more than just sports. We have to start making them feel like it's more value to you than it is. Than you just how many trophies you can win for me. I done seen plenty of kids go from one organization to the other and either do better or do worse, sit on the bench or even start or whatever. What I'm saying is, we're focused too much on building brands and not building people. You get what I'm saying? That's why mentorship is so important. And I know I might be kind of all over the place, but what I'm saying is, I am a product of not having a father in the vital points of my life. And I want us as men, especially in this small city, man, to come together and try to figure out a solution. Because at the end of the day, y'all always love to say, well, man, there ain't too many athletes or kids out there. Dallas got millions of people and Little Rock only got 250,000, and then you cut that in half. But it's like, I call BS. We can have a lot of kids like that if people actually cared to put their hands on these kids before they could run a touchdown. If we actually had programs set up, if we actually had fathers that would step up, just trying to figure out a way on how we can be solid figures in these kids' lives. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, we only got time for the people who playing during regulating time. But who gonna take the post time, the time after the games? So all I'm saying to you is, even though I can't make every father step up and be in their child's life, ain't nothing I can do about that. What I can do is continue to do these podcasts to try to reach out to the fathers who are listening, or try to reach out to the coaches who might have the ear of these fathers, and start holding them accountable, talk to them. At the end of the day, it's proven the better the kid has, the better relationship a child has with his father, and if his father can show up to a game, the better that kid is gonna play. I mean, coaches sound crazy, or you will sound crazy saying, y'all need to work on this at home, but you know that boy got a single mama. The mama working 14 hours. And then, did she ever play basketball or football? No. So hell, somebody need to train her. Fathers, we got to do better. The absence is killing these kids, man. And I just think you a joke if who you are as a gang member, or who you are as a rapper, or who you are as a street cat, your reputation. If your reputation is more important than your street reputation, or whatever reputation is more important than your reputation as a father, then man, to me, you a coward. Straight up. There is no reason why a father can't go out his way to come see by this child. Just call him, send him videos, talk to him, help him manage his anger. Just come give him a hug. Because, man, at the end of the day, when I think about my life and all the things I've been through, I guess I done been so much trauma where I done blocked it out that my mind be blown when I think about how the things I've been through and that I done blocked out. Like, I was sitting here telling some friends some stories the other day. And, man, it blew my mind. I was like, dang, I can't believe I really went through that. And then I was like, man, but the crazy part about it is that was going on. You get what I'm saying? So, man, Dad, it's all I'm telling you is, man, at some point, your last name has to be more important than your reputation. Or your last name has to be your reputation. Because at the end of the day, man, these kids need us. I don't really know what else to say. But salute to all my good fathers out there, man, who's actually trying, who actually takes time to invest in their kids, and academically, from a sports standpoint, just life, period. At the end of the day, we sit back and complain about how these young men treating our women, but at the same time, I mean, we leaving them no choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, who gonna teach them? You feel what I'm saying? Well, fathers, please get involved in your kids' life. Please help them and give them the skill set that they need to get through life so they can secure their future. Because at the end of the day, all this AAU ripping, running around, all these whatever, it means nothing when they turn 17, 18, get into a fight outside the bowling alley, or shoot they homeboys outside in their driveway, or get caught up in the wrong crowd. You get what I'm saying? Like, man, we got to stop gambling with our kids, because at some point, excuse me, at some point, they turn gonna come up to deal with conflict. And I mean, at that point, what you gonna bet on? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same in life, in basketball. You don't work out with your child, well, boom, next year when they turn 6th grade, 5th grade good ain't 6th grade good. And let's say they good enough to get by, but when they hit 7th grade, and that skill really got to come out now, is you gonna gamble on not working with them when they ball getting ripped, and it's just like in real life. So fathers, at the end of the day, sitting up, fathering from a distance and not being involved in your child life is costing everybody, not just you, because this is the product that you putting out in the street. Get on your kids' Instagram and examine, and look at those pictures. You know, say something, because to me, being a real man and doing and being a leader is being the person who has to make the uncomfortable might make a decision that might not be popular, that might be unpopular to everybody. It's okay if your kids don't like you. Long as you doing the right thing, they'll be all right. We can't be scared of that, man. When you know what it takes to lead, step up and be a leader. You're not going to always be the popular person, and you're not going to always be right. I mean, you're not going to always be liked. But what I am going to say is your kids going to be all right. Now, we can't watch them 24 hours, but they're going to react. They're going to conduct. They're self-based off how they was raised and what was instilled in them. That's what comes out when you're not thinking. Point blank, period. No different than basketball. If you work out and you repetition and you keep doing something over and over, when it's time you get put in a double team or whatever, what's gonna come out of you is what you've been working on. Some kids gonna lock up and some people gonna pop back out or whatever they gotta do to get to that double team. That's where the oohs and ahs come from. What happens when you don't have the time to think. And what happens, what comes out is what's gonna be based off the repetition. You know, what's become normal to you, your reaction. So, man, this your favorite coach, Coach E. You already know how I'm coming. I appreciate y'all coming. I appreciate y'all watching. It means a lot to me, man. But go check out their podcast. Gang violence and the disrespect in our youth communities. But man, fathers, we have to do better. Shout out to everybody who doing their thing once again, man. I don't know, man. It just hurt. It just hurt, man. To see our kids out here like this, man. We can't save everybody, but we do have to do better. You know what it is, man. It's Coach E.